Good morning and welcome back at ECCMID TV, brought to you live here from Pavilion 1 at the ECCMID Congress Center here in Lisbon, Portugal. My name is Judith Cohen. I'll be hosting all the broadcasts here on ECCMID TV, and I'm very, very pleased to welcome our next guest here live in the studio, Professor Annelies Zinkernagel, who is the ESCCMID President-elect and Secretary General of the Executive Committee of ESCCMID, also Professor of Infectious Diseases and Hospital Epidemiology at the University of Zurich in Switzerland. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back to the studio, I should say. How is ECCMID treating you so far this year?
Fabulously. I'm enjoying it tremendously. I heard from many people, best ECCMID ever. People just enjoy being back, seeing each other in person, interacting with real people, not with the screens, having discussions. It's fantastic. And
is it the best one ever because we had to miss it for a couple of years?
That helps probably, but it is, looking at the talks and the organization, it is definitely one of the best ECCMIDs. And so far the talks have been fabulous. Highest standing quality, great scientists, great clinicians, really beautiful talks.
Wow, and we've only just had one day down.
It was a pleasure.
More to come.
Yes.
Yeah. So how have you been managing to interact with colleagues, experts all over the field, all over the world, the past couple of years?
It was definitely a challenge. I think there's been many downsides, but also upsides. We've learned to communicate and interact on a daily basis without traveling far distances, and that has worked extremely well, I must say. We've also learned to do hybrid conferences or just online conferences, and I think that's really the way to go for the future. This is also a hybrid conference. Many people are attending online, and with that we could reach many other countries and spread out further. So I think definitely positive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we will be keeping this up. Myself also interacting with colleagues, seeing their faces, although it's only by screen and not in real time, from time to time, has been fantastic. I think what COVID has taught us even more is how important it is to interact, to communicate, to network amongst colleagues, amongst the societies, and this is something we from ESCCMID will certainly be pushing forward, having these greater networks and communications going.
Absolutely, yeah. You just commented on some excellent scientific program elements that you attended. Do you care to share some of the highlights?
Happy to do so. One of my favorites is always the Young Investigator Awards.
Yeah.
That was yesterday. Two fantastic young investigators, one CM, one ID. One was sharing about artificial intelligence and how this will help us tailor needs and antimicrobial use and pinpoint that much better. And the other ID physician was talking about how to tailor treatment for patients suffering from cirrhosis, so how we can tailor that treatment better. It was a pleasure to listen to. Then yesterday's keynote, one of them was by Jose Miro on how to tackle endocarditis, how to manage endocarditis. He's obviously one of the main forces in Europe, but also worldwide on this topic. He gave a brilliant talk, and what I really liked was the fireplace session that followed afterwards, where people could interact individually. It was not in this great hall, but there was really a chance to have a dialogue. Again, not via screen, but a dialogue in person.
Live.
So that was great. Then,
and what type of people do have registered for the fireplace sessions? Are they more the younger investigators, or is it just a mixture of both experts and younger?
Actually, it was a mixture. There were senior professors who were interacting together with young ID fellows, microbiology fellows, and there was a really good interaction, a lot of questions. The people were bringing up how they treat endocarditis or what kind of endocarditis boards they have at their institutions, and there was a very vivid interaction.
Yeah, so it really or enables shared learning, learning from each other.
Yes.
That's
so great atmosphere. Yeah.
And what are you looking forward to attending this ECCMID still? We have some days to go.
So actually, I just came from 2 award sessions that were this morning. One was on SARS-CoV-2, obviously one of our main topics, but the beauty was really going into depth on how important it is to understand the pathophysiology of SARS-CoV-2 in order to tailor diagnostics and treatment for the future. It was just a pleasure to hear because it really brought in the whole realm of what we're aiming and what we've really been focusing on now is improved diagnostics, better understanding of pathophysiology in order to meet patients' needs. So it was a pleasure to listen to. Then the next talks I'm really looking forward to is one on antimicrobial persistence. So why and how do bacteria sleep through war, through antibiotic treatment, and how can they survive although they're fully susceptible? So that's a session I will be actually chairing tomorrow afternoon, so I'm really looking forward to that. There's a session on hepatitis, this acute hepatitis that has come up in children, that will be tomorrow morning. So there's quite a bit. Yes, at 9 o'clock, exactly.
Yeah, that's really fresh from the press,
exactly.
so to speak. So when I'm listening to you and your enthusiasm about the scientific program, it seems to me that COVID didn't really left its mark on the quality of research that has been done for the past 2 years, or is that your impression?
I think it has left some marks on different topics because there was quite a bit of shutdown, so not all laboratories could work. The funding has shifted a bit, so it has definitely put some marks, but it also has made or given different opportunities. So many people, for example, who were working in HIV shifted towards the COVID field. The EU funding has opened up quite a bit of resources to allow and enable very rapid COVID research. And politicians, as well as the funding agencies, have realized there's a need to act quickly. Yeah. So it has changed. But I think what COVID has brought is that we really have to have good diagnostics, good understanding of pathophysiology in order to tailor clinical trials to bring treatment to our patients. And I think the hallmark has been, thanks to excellent basic research, we had this mRNA vaccine which could be developed so quickly and allows that we're all here. All of us have had 2 or 3 boosts and we can interact. And I think it really just has enforced not only for the scientific world, but also for the public and especially for the politicians that infectious diseases are important. They change our lives.
We cannot go around them, no.
And on the other hand, that we have to invest in order to understand. So it has definitely changed our world.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. So, well, talking about the now and the ECCMID, we're also looking a little bit, I'd like to look a little bit into the future with you as well. You're the president-elect for ESCCMID, so your presidency is upcoming already. Do you have specific hopes or wishes or expectations that you would like to help the field of infectious diseases and microbiology progress to?
Yes, definitely. So I hope to take forward this momentum that has been created by COVID, this intense networking and these interactions between infectious disease people, ICU physicians, clinical microbiologists, but also politicians, and shaping the world that people in general understand the impact of infectious diseases and that we will be better prepared for the next pandemic, which will be coming at some time. Also that we can further increase the awareness of the necessity of prevention. So the whole infection control has been key. And now every school kid knows what infection control is, and it has really shaped our public. So if we can continue
we
that, yes, we can continue that not only on the general scale, but also in the hospitals even further, I think we will achieve a lot. And the same along the lines of prevention is vaccine. And we have achieved quite a bit, but Omicron is outsmarting us and is adapting further, so we still need quite a bit of investment there. That's from the infectious disease point of view, infection control. Then what COVID also has learned is that we have to understand pathophysiology. And so further investing into basic research and translational science, understanding the diseases which we think we already know, but we don't know that well. And that is not only COVID, but also many bacterial infections and viral infections that we can there further tailor treatment and decide a precision medicine where we will be more precise in treating our patients. And an aspect that has been made very critical now with COVID is how important it is to inform the public and the politicians. Some physicians are good at that, some not that.
It is quite challenging.
And it is
yeah.
Exactly, and that I think teaching young people how to really optimally interact with people, because I think that is one of our obligations, is to inform. And not everybody is as comfortable and as concise in doing that. So I think teaching that, as well as creating the leaders of tomorrow, is one of the future hopes I have.
And is one of the objectives also
Absolutely.
of the ESCMID educational boards. And
Yes.
well, I can understand that role has become increasingly large for infectious disease doctors. Yeah, I can understand what you're saying about that being somewhat out of the comfort zone for some. Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. And you have, do you already have some concrete plans how to achieve this, or is this still in the making?
Well, it's still in the making. We've had other priorities at the moment, but now being able to meet face-to-face, we're thinking about various educational workshops which we can take up along those lines, and maybe also developing certain leadership platforms. So we're working on that at the moment, yes.
And you have everyone together here at the ECCMID.
Which makes life so much easier. And again, I mean, this has shown us that we're living in the best of the two worlds, doing infectious diseases as well as clinical microbiology, and it's never been as timely as doing any of those two professions. So it's definitely a good time to be working in the field.
So after some hard years, it's finally all falling in place for now.
For now. We're not over everything yet. As it shows, we're still wearing our mask. We still have to protect others. We're still working on the vaccines, but we've come large steps forward, yes.
Yeah, well, excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing your opinions and views, and sharing your enthusiasm about this year's ECCMID scientific program so far. And thank you for coming to our studio, Annelies. We will be tuning out again here with ECCMID TV, but we will be back at 12 sharp, and we will be back with our Lucky Wheel of Fortune. Please check the online platform for the link. You can enter the Zoom link, and then you will come here into my studio live. And hopefully you may get selected to let me spin the wheel for you and have the opportunity to win some really great prizes. We have some really cool ESCMID must-have gadgets, ECCMID gadgets, and there's also even a basic full 1-year membership for ESCMID to be won. So that should be enough incentive to join us on the Zoom link. I hope to see you all at noon, and we will host the Lucky Wheel of Fortune. See you then.